Welcome to The Art of Medicine, the program that explores the arts, business, and the clinical aspects of the practice of medicine. I'm Dr. Andrew Wilner, and today I have a special guest, Johanna Fox. Welcome, Johanna.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here, and it's good to see you again.
Today we're going to talk about the business of medicine. And by way of disclosure, I work with Laura Clifford, who's a CPA, one of your businesses, but your other business is wealth management. And that's what we're going to talk about today because I don't really understand it. I'm not a client of your wealth management services. I wonder if I should be or not. So this is going to be an educational program for me. So tell me, what is your background? What's wealth management? And why is it important for physicians?
Okay, that's a big question. I've been a CPA for 40 years now, and about 15 years ago, I kept getting the same question from CPA clients that I couldn't answer, which was, where should I invest my money? I'm not happy where I am. And I wasn't happy with the answers I gave. And so I just decided, I think I can do this. I think I should do this. And so at age 50, got my certified financial planning license and
Tell me a little
started
bit about that because I know to become a CPA, it's very rigorous. There's an exam, you learn about accounting in a specific state. My dad was a CPA, and so I grew up with, tax season, and I understand that. But CFP, Certified Financial Planner, is something I really, is that like a 1 week course or is it a 6 year residency or, what do you guys actually learn?
Okay, so taxes is part of it actually, and even the tax part was hard for me. But in addition to that, we are learning about investing, about overall financial planning, about education, student loans. Oh, let me see, what am I forgetting? There are 6 areas of financial planning, insurance. And so we are tested in each of those. It took me about 2 years to study for this. Now, as a CPA, I could have challenged, but it had been so long since I'd become a CPA, I decided to go through all the material again. Before I took the exam, I was studying about 50 hours a week in addition to my work. My husband said, you better pass this the first time. You don't get another chance. So I did.
Good for you. Good. Well,
uh,
that helps a lot. So it was a big investment of time and energy, and of course, it draws on everything you've learned as a
uh-huh.
CPA and adds to it. So you're a CPA, a CFP, and now offering wealth management services. I'm not sure what that means.
Okay, so that title's a little bit confusing. When Michelle and I were rebranding the business, it was very difficult to just, we do all these different things. Estate planning is one I didn't mention. And how do we encompass all of that? So at the time we thought wealth management because we do appeal to the higher income clients, higher net worth. And since then, we have kind of morphed into more of a true financial planning firm that does wealth management, but does not necessarily need to handle the assets.
Mm.
So we have that option, but we don't do AUM, we are flat fee. And so the wealth management, I think, actually turns some people off. And it's the way it is. We got plenty of clients anyway. But it doesn't mean that we have to manage your wealth. For our firm, it means that we advise on your wealth and help you grow your wealth from every perspective possible. Now,
That's
other firms, it can mean something different. Excuse me.
no. Let me interrupt for a second. You mentioned AUM. I don't know what that means.
Oh, I'm sorry. Assets under management. So that's the traditional method that investment managers, financial advisors used to manage their clients' portfolios. They didn't really do the financial planning, and they charged a percentage of all of the investments that they physically managed. So the industry standard was 1%, can go, I've seen it as high as 2.25%. And as you may know today, that is kind of going into dirty word territory. So a
Well, I
lot
got
of
to tell a
the,
story. I'm going to tell a story. When I first went into practice in Charlotte in the 90s, all of a sudden I was a physician and I started getting calls from these financial managers, wealth management guys. And of course, I barely had enough money. I had no money because I had to buy a house and I had to move. And, I was used to living on, $35,000 a year. So this concept of wealth management to me, that's for a guy who has a yacht, and
yeah,
homes in different countries. So he says, well, we can do all your investments for you, and we're experts, and we'll only take 1% of your total investment. So I said, well, what happens when my assets go up? He said, oh, well, we take 1% of whatever that is, including the 1% of the total. And I said, well, what happens when they go down? He says, well, we still take 1% of everything we're managing.
mm-hmm.
So I said, I have a different idea. I said, how about that I pay you 10% of everything that goes up? And if it goes down, you get nothing because it went down. Oh, I say, oh, no, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. And I asked another guy who also called me, oh, no, no, we can't do that. I said, so you want me to take your advice? I said, but you're not willing to take your own advice, to take a risk on your own advice, but you want me to take a risk on your advice. I said, that doesn't work for me. So since then, I've never been interested in anybody who's taking a percentage without taking any part of the risk. I think it's a great deal. I mean, how do I get into that business? It goes up, it goes down, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great deal. So the other alternative to that, which is what you do, is you just charge a fee. And it's like, okay, I'm going to talk to you for an hour once a month, and we're going to review all your stuff and see where it's going. And these are your options. And this is what I would advise given, your long-term plans and so on and so forth, something like that. And then if they want you to do the investing for them, you will do it. Yes. But if they say, oh, I've got Fidelity, I can press the buttons, I know what I want to do, then that's fine with you too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
That's correct. And we still give the investment advice. That's definitely a part of the planning and give portfolio recommendations. It's just that the client fills out all the paperwork, manages the account, does the investing and sales and that type of thing.
Can you give me an idea? I don't know, say you have 100 clients. What percentage of them, do you manage their finances and what percentage does their own?
Okay. Most of our clients skew toward new attendings in the first, say, 0 to 5 to 10 years. So those are basic clients. Typically, that would be 85% of our clients.
So they're like I was when I got way back when I got approached and didn't really know anything about even what finance was.
Exactly.
We should mention also that I think all of your clients are physicians. Is that correct? Or 99%? Right. Yeah, so you really understand the stresses and strains and the, people say, oh, physicians are such, high earners, why should they even worry? Well, it's not like that. It's not like that. And
it's very, actually, I've learned a lot in the last 4 years because we started into the physician space 4 years ago, January, and just took off running. And at the time, I was depending upon White Coat Investor, and then gradually our clients. who would answer questions I had, but by participating on the forum, that happens to coincide with when the forum was born. So with actually participating so much on the forum, being a moderator, I just read a lot and understand the angst that so many physicians have. I should say doctors, we deal with a lot of dentists too, but that they have to go through, and just the graduating residency or fellowship, and then immediately your income goes up maybe 4 or 5 times. It's a huge shock, and it is so tempting to relax for a while and to say, I've earned this, I'm going to have this and this and this. But then they look back 5 or 10 years later and they're saying, if I hadn't had this or this or this, I'd be that much closer to retirement. And they have regrets. So what a financial planner can do is give those clients perspective about how this impacts their futures, and then context for what a certain decision will have on their short-term goals and their long-term goals, and how little change in spending, like we work with our clients in their budgeting, how that can snowball into the future. And once they have that information and they can see, because naturally all of our clients are very, very smart. Once they can really see that, they get it, and then it's much easier to make the changes that they need to make.
Well, today is April 2nd. And so we are 2020, and we're in the middle of this COVID-19, and a disruption to our normal lives, I guess, would be an understatement. I'm waiting for your phone to ring because there are gyrations in the stock market. Physicians' practices have had to adjust to this with some are closing, some are working only with telemedicine. I think it's fair to say that many are losing income while at the same time putting themselves in harm's way by seeing patients who are coughing. Employed physicians are seeing pension contributions disappear, are seeing cuts in their salary, while again, still trying to go to work and care for people who are sick. So in 25 words or less, what are you telling your clients? It's like, well, it's not, I just saw my savings drop by 30%. Instead of retiring at 65, I'm going to be 100. What do you tell people when they kind of get anxious?
This too will pass, and it will. I compare it to a physician who has just become an attending, and it suddenly hits them that they're $500,000 in debt. When we talk to them, they cannot see past this huge hole that they have. And that's why being the ability to look into the future and say, okay, here's how this is going to get better. It may not be fun in the meantime, but you will come out of it. And of course, as a planner, we're going to help. Same with this situation, which I don't mean to diminish in any way. I mean, we have physicians who are going from putting their lives at risk and working 100 hours a week to watching, dermatologists and pediatricians, watching their practices just crash to 10% of the patients they were seeing, or closing the doors. And it is very scary. So to have some context and understand, we will get through this. Let's go over the worst that can happen. Let's just talk about that. Someone dies. My kids get sick. So you're healthy. You've got your training. You have your knowledge. And physicians are never going to go out of style. You're going to have a job. It may not be exactly like the job it was before, but your goal right now is to stay healthy, stay well, and focus on getting through this. That's
Joanna,
not 25 words or
that's great. I
less.
think the long view is reassuring. Well, this has been very edifying for me. If there's a physician watching or listening, because this is also a podcast, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, you can go to our website, foxwealthmgmt.com or fox-cpas.com, or you can just Google. You'll probably, if you look at look for Fox CPAs or Fox Wealth Management, it's not going to be too hard to find. Hopefully, we're on the front page, first page.
Well, this has really been very exciting for me. I want to thank you for taking the time out of a busy day to join me and share a little bit about wealth management. And
You're welcome.
hopefully things will be better next time we talk.
Hopefully so, and it's been my pleasure to have a chance to speak with you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.